It's just another way to continue pounding away at the Palestinians and give a justification for hating them and murdering them, as Israel has. And as we've seen, there was a recent attack on a synagogue in the UK. And isn't it interesting that in this attack on this synagogue, the only people who gave any solidarity to that attack was the Muslim community? Everybody else was angry denunciation, ready to blame. But the only ones who gave solidarity was the Muslim community. And how interesting that that was basically left out of the media. That was left out of the mainstream media narrative. That the mainstream media, who has been doing a lot to defend the Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people and demonize Muslims for the sake of protecting that genocide and protecting the reputation of the genocidal Israel, are the ones that have been looking the other way on this great act of solidarity that was being given towards those who were attacked, that solidarity being given towards Muslims. But isn't that just typical from the mainstream media to ignore that in order to forward and to defend the image of Israel? Because the institutions of power inside the UK and many other countries as well are continuing to try to do that because they represent the interests of those countries. Because you have to remember, Israel is not a religious entity. It is a political entity. It is a creation of colonialism, one that represents and is part of the network of colonial countries, the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, etc., and something that just continues their legacy of murderous occupation. Well, this week has been a very interesting week on the subject of Israel, and particularly with its relation to Palestine. As you may well know, that there was an attack on the recent flotilla that was trying to get necessary food and medical aid to the people of Palestine who have had a genocide being carried out against them, and the unforgivable act that this is against innocent people. This this has occurred on Yom Kippur. That's right, the supposedly Jewish state of Israel carried out an attack on an aid flotilla, a defenseless aid flotilla, took place on Yom Kippur, one of the holy days, one of the days in which, you're not supposed to be going out and, murdering people. And I think that this, gives another pure sign that this is not a Jewish state. This is a Zionist state. The Jewish people should not be conflated with this horrible, god-awful, genocidal monstrosity is Israel, and Israel should not be connected to Jewish people at all in any way, shape, or form. It is a Zionist entity. It is a political entity. It is not a religious entity. And isn't it interesting that Antifa gets declared a terrorist organization, roughly around the same time? I mean, what is the one thing Antifa has that really, really bothers the system? The fact that there are so many Jewish people inside Antifa. One of the many that said never again, and one of the big things that Antifa stands against is the genocide of the Palestinian people. And this is something that has always infuriated many Zionist organizations like the ADL, etc. The fact that there are so many Jewish people inside of Antifa. Now, this all comes as Trump gave out a peace plan between Israel and Palestine. It says Hamas has, X amount of time, a couple days to accept it or not. That there will be repercussions and punishments if they don't accept it. But we know from looking at this so-called agreement that there's no way any Palestinian in their right mind would take it. The peace plan, or so-called peace plan, gives absolutely no representation to the Palestinian people whatsoever. They would be absolutely insane to take this. All this is another performative act. Make it look like an offering of peace was made to the Palestinian people, then they turn it down because they obviously will, and then be able to turn around and say, oh, well, look, obviously they didn't because the Palestinian people don't want any peace.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.